Hello and welcome to today's episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and friends. I'm your host, of course, Mr. Boomstick, and wow, do we have an amazing show for you today. Lots of breaking news, big gaming stories, and we have a lot to break down. Now, in order to do that, I needed a panel, which you know, but we're of course going to get into their amazing openings. But I have a real special guest. He is a community icon, and everyone knows him as Mr. Xbox himself. His status quo is so strong, he rubs elbows with the biggest names on Team Xbox. He's a die-hard gamer with ties to the OG classics. Emerald green flows through his veins, and he's a panel member of the incredible RDX podcast. Please welcome xCloud game changer Tim Dog.
What a intro! Thank you so much for that. I'm just one of the guys of the community, guys like you, Boom, and everyone here, and everyone in the Xbox community. I really feel like we're on equal footing. I just been here around longer, so maybe I'm a little long in the tooth, but very happy to be here. I'm happy that we got some Xbox gaming enthusiast podcasts like yourself, which is a good thing. So just like I said, very, very nice intro, and thank you. I'm happy to be here, ready to talk Xbox.
Well, it's great to have you, dude. This is the first time we're actually working together, though we did hang out in, of course, E3 2019. We got a chance to hang out for a bit at the compound and got to meet in person and hang out at, of course, FanFest. It was great to actually see you and talk to you, in person, which was great. But let's get into the regular panel that everyone knows and loves. Next, we have a gamer whose undying skills in Destiny has no match. He also has no limit. He's our inside man to everything GameStop. He's an incredible father, husband, and one heck of a community member, creator of the amazing Gaming Forte YouTube channel, and an integral part of the Basement Radio Arcade podcast and weekly shows. Please welcome Guardian Forte.
My man Boom. First of all, I want to apologize to the whole panel. I was not here last week because GameStop decided to make us do relays in all our stores, and I was up to 1:30 in the morning doing that. So I listened to the show. Amazing show as always, guys. I'm just happy to be amongst my Xbox brethren because Mondays are not the same if I'm not around you guys. So once again, appreciate it, and ready to put on a good show again.
Well, we definitely appreciate you being here, dude. And like I said, sure, you missed it out. But, listen, things happen. This is what happens with, unfortunately, we learned very early, even way back in the days of Funkoland, that these last-minute things happened. It's the way business works, but it's great to have you back.
Yes, sir.
Next, we have a gaming hero who will one day don the cape and cowl, and of course celebrated Batman Day just the other day with the Batlight focused on his house. Because guess what? It's the Batcave, folks. He's a newcomer to the podcast game with skills of a 20-year veteran, an Xbox enthusiast who bleeds green when you cut him, and he is the creator of his very own amazing mixture channel. Please welcome CyberKnox.
Hey, what's going on, Boom? What's up, chat? Glad to be here. I'm just going to say this right now. I kind of want to give Gaming Forte a hug after, he shows so much love for the panel, all right? Great pleasure to be here. Let's get this Monday started. It's prime time gaming podcast time. Let's go.
Yes, well, listen. It's great to have you here, dude. And it's like I said, the show is run because we're all friends. And when you can hang around with your friends and talk about gaming, it's isn't it the best thing ever? So listen, let's go on to our main man from Florida. You know him as the Italian Clowns. He is a community member unlike anyone. You know why? Because he helps everyone who needs it. He has an amazing show called The Four Guys with Quarters. He is still in search of the perfect slice of pizza, and I like to call him brother, all the way from Florida, which I believe is still sinking. Please welcome the Italian Clowns.
Hey, what's up, Boom? Always a pleasure being on here, man. Love being a panel member here. And you know what? Tim can attest to the fact that Florida's sinking. We sunk a lot of ships in Sea of Thieves together with Jeremy, so...
Oh my goodness! Well, listen, it's great to have you here, and Tim, we'll get to you in a second, brother. Let me just do the last intro. Now, of course, I always say this last, and in no way least. He is, well, I'm going to say this. He used to be a Black Desert legend, okay, but now he has hung up those cleats to play what game I think it's called? A little something called Monster Hunter, where he's over 400 hours of play, okay? Where he has been quoted in saying it's an MMO life for him, a gamer who will save the universe from the clutches of the profound darkness when when Phantasy Star 2 Online releases in 2020, and he is an Apex Legend assassin. Please welcome Tempestsun.
What's going on, Boom? You keep getting better at those intros. I love it. It's cool to be on here with Tin Dog. I've been on Twitter for a long time, been enjoying him on the RDX podcast, so it is quite awesome that he's here tonight, and I'm looking forward to the topic, so let's get to it.
Okay, well, listen, let's get into it, because obviously we're 7 minutes past, and I know I've been told by several people, I don't want to mention names, that my intros are too long. And of course, I have to respond with, well, this is my show, and I have to represent the panel taking their time to be here in a proper manner. So let's get into the community question of the week. Now, I know some people might be asking, well, wait a second. We're missing someone. Where's So Shady? Well, So Shady, if you didn't already know, is having some surgery on Friday, and obviously I'm hoping that this community rallies around him, sends him some good wishes, and wishes him well on the surgery. And he's going to be out of the podcasting game for about a month, maybe a little bit longer. So he had sent me a question, and I thought it was a pretty interesting one. And because he's not here, and I wanted to honor him because he is one of the hardest working dudes, not only on YouTube, but on Twitter. Here was his question, and I'm going to go right to Tim Dog first on this. If every single game launched on every single platform, what would be your platform of choice and why, Tim? I think
you know what I'm going to say. One of the reasons why I love Xbox, let's just take the games away, is for everything that they've done. If you remember the beginning of the generation, they had the monthly updates where, they would add little things here and there, and they listened to the community, and that type of integration and what they're doing and what they're looking to do with xCloud and everything that they do in addition to gaming. Like if we take the gaming side of the game exclusives out of the picture, there is no doubt in my mind nobody does it better. And I think this is pretty much a fact. Nobody does it better than Xbox. I mean, the way the Xbox Live is a world-class service. Yes, all services go down, but obviously there's a reason why Sony is coming to Microsoft to help them with their cloud. You look at the things that they've added, the things that they've listened to, the community, aside from the doom and gloomists on Twitter, you really have a really enthusiastic community, great people, people that just, love Xbox for what it is. So for me, it's hands down Xbox. I think one of the things that it does, and I'm a beta tester, so I was there when Sony had no online, and I was there when it was first playing that game. I forgot the name of it, but it was like a game where you were like miniature cars and stuff, and you were in a neighborhood and you were racing around. But Xbox Live from the onset set the standard, and it's really one of the big reasons why I'm such an enthusiast, is because what they do on that end and everything that they provide, and the way they listen and the way they look to even further it, is one of the reasons why I'm really a big time Xbox fan. I think they do it the best, and hands down Xbox on that answer.
Well, I mean, I mean, listen, dude, I don't think I could have said it any better myself, to be honest with you. And you know what? For the most part, I think we're going to probably get the same answer. But it's fun to really kind of hear how the panel is going to break it down, and how you just broke it down was amazing. Cybernox, I want to go to you because I know that you're a big-time Xbox guy as well.
Sir.
So to answer So Shady's question of the week, if every single game launched on every single platform, what would be your platform of choice and why?
Yeah, first off, shout out to So Shady, man. I hope you're getting the treatment and you recover ASAP so you can come back to the panel. Voice needs to come back. But I love this question because let's take the emotion out of it, right? Let's take the fanboyism, let's say that, out of it. I would still pick Xbox. And let me tell you why. One, and I prefer the controller on Xbox, okay? It has the most powerful console with the exception of, let's say, a gaming PC, right? And there has been multiple YouTube channels that try to build a PC for the same price as the Xbox, or Xbox One X, I should say, do the same things that won't play games to the same level of fidelity that the Xbox One X will. Okay, they have shown time, or in the past few years, that they are the more pro-consumer company. From Xbox Game Pass continues to be the best service in gaming. New content comes in every month. I know everything goes in and out, but more and better content comes in. In first-party games, remember this: first-party games are day and date on Game Pass. No other company does that. No other company does that. Okay, where I know a lot of people like to dismiss that, but that at first was a game changer. You buy one copy of your game, or depending on the game, you can play it on your Xbox and you can play it on your PC. Cherry on top for me, Boom, is something that a lot of people don't take advantage of. Rewards program.
Oh, dude, I'm 61 days going, brother.
Microsoft Rewards program. I know people who have not paid for Xbox Live ever. Why? They've gotten points through the Microsoft
for playing
Rewards
games.
program.
Let's not forget that,
playing
dude.
Games.
Yep.
Using Edge, the Edge browser, or any browser for the matter of fact, doing a couple of searches. They're buying things digitally, not only games, anything related to the Microsoft and Windows. Anything you buy nets you points. So if you combine all of that, there is no other company that does it better than Xbox and Microsoft. It's the best place. It's where, and I like this question because it lets gamers think of games just as they're supposed to be. Games where we can have fun and enjoy ourselves. Now you take the fanboys out of it, you take everything out of it, and you're gonna look at the best console or the best platform that's gonna give you the most bang for your buck. And that, in my opinion, is the Xbox. And that's who I would stick it with.
No, well, that's a great dude. That's another fantastic, man. Back-to-back answers. Really, that's fantastic. Nautical, I have to go to you next on this, dude, because obviously, you work at GameStop, so you're around folks that support some like us support all three consoles. Some people support just one, and again, I say this, and I don't say this in jest, folks. Listen, if you are fortunate enough to be able to afford to support all three consoles, I say you owe it to yourself as a gamer. Now, I want this to be clear. Not everybody can do it. Gaming is an expensive hobby. And unfortunately, some people are in a position where they're just happy to be gaming on one console. And if that's the case, hey, listen, that's great that you're gaming at all. Because like I said, it is a hobby, and hobbies are expensive. So like I said, I do throw that out there. But Gaming Forte, if every single game launched on every single platform, what would be your platform of choice and why?
So As when I read that question, I was like, God damn it, Shady.
It's
Don't make
great.
me think about this one. So, look, man, we all came from Nintendo. Most
Yep.
of us all came from there. Sony was a very prevalent system in most of our lives because it was here before Xbox. And I always, when I was thinking about it, it's like, man, it's hard to really choose what would really be the most thing that impacted you the most. But when I sit down and really think about it, where I am now as a gamer versus where I was 10, 15, 20 years ago as a gamer, man, I love Xbox so much, and it's not even just because of the games. The games were the catalyst that started it, but it was the experiences that Xbox gave me that is the reason I'll pick Xbox. And I know a lot of people on here gonna be like, "Oh my God, it's an Xbox podcast," so they're all gonna pick Xbox. But the biggest thing for me was tournaments. I didn't start playing in tournaments until I got into Xbox because of Halo. It was like the start of a thing that I didn't even know I was interested in. Games had co-op before, but co-op went to a whole nother level with Combat Evolved, taking your TV and your Xbox to other people's houses and setting up LAN parties. Those were very memorable experiences to me. And then Ghost Recon, original Ghost Recon, that's where I met the bulk of all my Xbox friends on the original Xbox. And it kind of just shaped me into this person that I am today when it comes to the games that I like to play. And I always tell people to this day, they always ask me, like, why do you prefer Xbox over PlayStation? And I said, well, they say, well, it has no games. I said, well, that's a lie. There are games on the system. May not be games that you enjoy, but for me, games became secondary to the friendships that I have on the system.
That's great. That's a great answer, dude.
Like friends, like dude, like we're on this podcast together because of our love and enjoyment of Xbox, and Xbox brought us all together. So if there was no Xbox, that's why I say I could play on PC. Xbox doesn't have to be a system for me. It could be it's a platform now. Like I can go on my PC, load up Xbox Live on my PC and still talk to all my friends. The box is not a thing for me. Will I love to have the box still in my house? Yes, because I want to support what I love. But Xbox has it's morphed into this bigger thing than just a console, just a game system. The ecosystem, the friends, Ash and Luca, Slow-Mo Backslap, all my friends from 2001, because I've been on Xbox Live ever since the day that they gave us a headset in a box, and we had to go to the mall and pick it up to get a 12-month Xbox Live card when it was $79.99. That was the moment that I fell in love with Xbox truly, and I've never turned my back on it ever since then. And it sucks that Microsoft goes through the things that they go through when it comes to the trials and tribulations of having to prove themselves over and over again. But that's why I believe what Microsoft is doing now is best for them. I feel like services is what Microsoft always been, and diving deeper into that ecosystem is beneficial, especially to me, because I just like to be around the people I enjoy playing games with, and that fortunately is on the Xbox platform.
Well, that's another. Listen, guys, I cannot thank you enough for this. These answers are amazing, because it could have been just like, well, I like Xbox because of this, but these are really well thought out answers. Clowns, my brother from Florida, I want to get your take on this, because you're out there on social media rubbing elbows with everyone, and of course, like I said in your opening, you really do go out of your way to help others for no reason other than just to be a good guy, and that's something that is lacking on social media. And I'm glad that everyone on this panel, including Tim Dog, are the kind of gamers that if someone asked for help, they would get the hand up from us. But in regards to this question, if every single game launched on every single platform, what would be your platform of choice and why?
I would have to say at this point, Xbox would be my platform of choice. It has always been my platform of choice because I feel it's more stable. I feel that Microsoft cares about the ecosystem on there. They care about their services. Yes, all services go down, like Tim said, but Xbox makes sure to get it up as soon as possible. They don't like to let it go down for more than, a few hours. So to me, that shows security, stability, care about produce. So I'm going to be on the Xbox platform. Going to be talking to my friends on Xbox Party Chat. And that Xbox Party Chat, you can even chat from PC, which is really cool. So some of my friends, if they get rid of their Xbox or don't have it or something happens to it, they get on the PC and still talk to me through Xbox. So it's great, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's another fantastic answer. And, certainly I'm going to give my opinion in a second, but Tempestsun, you being an Xbox dude, but you also have other consoles. So, I really want to hear your answer. If every single game launched on every single platform, what would be your platform of choice and why?
When Shady first sent in this question, it was, duh, that's how I thought, but actually thinking of it, I would almost say PC, but the reason why I wouldn't and I would stick to Xbox is there is just a difference between sitting upright at a computer chair in front of a monitor, rather you're holding a controller or using mouse and keyboard, whatever. And there's a difference between leaning back in the chair, lounging, playing a game, enjoying yourself. There's that aspect to it. Xbox is always innovating, sometimes too early or too soon. They try to push the boundaries, which I enjoy. I mean, they were the first console to put in the Ethernet jack. You couldn't do 56K modem over it or anything. They were pushing Ethernet way before anybody else pretty much had the balls to. And that's why, Forte said, 2001, I was there, baby. I had to buy a little adapter because I didn't want to run a 100-foot cord through the house, so I had to buy a little Wi-Fi adapter. Man, such good memories. I did countless nights we did do the house parties like Forte was saying. It's something you feel. It's memories that you didn't get anywhere else. Nobody was really doing what Xbox was doing. Just on the technical side of things, you kind of get PC wrapped up in Xbox and vice versa. But one thing nobody else said, and I think this is a big thing, if you look for a case for the Switch, pretty soon we're going to have our Switch, quote unquote, phones, the xCloud.
Yes.
The fact that you're going to be able to play any one of your games and your library might be huge. It might be stacked. The fact that you can play any of those games anywhere coming soon is reason enough, honestly. But it's just the whole package, man. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, every time you see what they add to Game Pass, and I subscribed to Ultimate. I didn't buy a bunch of months, ahead of time so I could get it all for $1 upgrade for like 3 years. I didn't do that because, I'm kind of dumb like that. I don't think ahead properly, but I am perfectly happy paying the $15 a month for Ultimate and getting all that content. I mean, it's fantastic. The other consoles have their pluses too. They really do. But there's just too much to love. And, this doesn't even have to do with the console, but I really honestly do think we have a genuine human being and a genuine gamer running the show.
I agree. That's a great point. That's a great point.
So, yeah, it would be Xbox for me.
Well, listen, and I'll close out the topic with keeping it very simple. First of all, I'm an OG Xbox owner. I remember going and working a shit ton of overtime to make sure that I walked away with 2 memory cards, 2 Duke controllers, and every launch title. I knew that after playing the first couple of games, my first couple of games in Crimson Skies, or Brute Force, or Jet Set, Jet Grind Radio, that was an exclusive. I was always an Xbox dude, but for now, in these days, obviously, I'm very transparent about supporting all 3 consoles, and I have no problem doing it. But if there was everything across everything, for me, it would of course be Xbox. And you say, well, why? Is it just because it's a banner waving thing? No, I mean, there's so much about the Xbox brand that is different from both Nintendo and the PlayStation 4. First of all, I happen to really think that there's no better service than Xbox Live. Yeah, I know that in the last couple of months, they've had some issues. They've gone down a few times, but that is very, very rare. I'm an achievement whore. I don't try and get 1,000 every game I play, but I'm at I think 262,000 my gamer score. So I'm getting close to that 300,000, and I actually like doing that. Now for like PlayStation, I'm almost at a level 13 in trophies. I don't care so much about trophies, but it's, you know what, a lot of people are saying the friendship. See, that's the thing that's really great, because some of the friends that I have on my friends list, I've had on my friends list for freaking years, man. And these are people that you may never actually meet in real person, but you talk to them like you would a family member. And that's something that, listen, this is not a poke at PlayStation or Nintendo. It's just that I feel more comfortable about the Xbox brand. And, Tempest, you said something. Okay, now when you talk about Phil Spencer, I understand Phil doesn't know who Mr. Boomstick is. Okay, I'm not a banana head. I understand that. But I am going to tell you this: their executives are more human than any of the industry I've ever seen or met. Okay, and I really bring this up because, listen, I have a very small channel. I work real hard on it. I think everybody knows that. Do you ever, like, I did a review on Gears 5, and I worked really hard on that one. That one was almost 9 hours of production value, and you can ask Dealer and Code how they do theirs, and they'll double it because their content's unbelievable. And I'm learning the ropes. But Rod Ferguson himself thanked me publicly on Twitter, and so did the art director. I don't see anyone from, the Sony or Nintendo side, reaching out to the fan base and saying, "Hey, listen, I watched your video. Your review was amazing." You know what I'm saying? So it's the little things like that make me so proud to be an Xbox player. But again, to keep the, not to go on all night about this, because we have a ton of stuff to get into, it would be Xbox for the controller, for the ease of use, for the executives, for the services, for Xbox Live, for the achievements. It just goes on and on and on. And like I said, I've said this also on Twitter, and I've gotten boos for it, and that's fine. I'm actually hoping that both the PlayStation and Nintendo copy what they've done in Xbox Game Pass and make a service for their consoles, because I'll sign up for that. But Tim, because you're here, I thought it was absolutely fantastic to make an Xbox specific topic, because obviously we're all Xbox fans, and I'm sure there are a lot of people in the chat that are Xbox fans, but I made this topic specifically for you because you obviously represent the green in the best possible light. So here's the next topic is this. X019 is the next big Xbox event and will be taking place on November 14th in London, England, which is amazing. The event is being considered to be the equivalent to Sony's very, very fan favorite PSX, and Aaron Greenberg has stated that there will be some really big reveals that a lot of the Xbox fans are going to get excited about. So here's exactly, Tim, what he had to say. This is I obviously watched the video a couple of times, and I'm quoting Aaron Greenberg. He revealed this at Xbox, Inside Xbox at Gamescom, and he said this: X019 will be the biggest Inside Xbox of the year, and a lot of big surprises planned. And then he followed up with never before seen games, and I thought that was really interesting. So, Tim, here's my question to you. Now, this is going to be huge for the platform and the Xbox community, because Phil Spencer and that entire team at Redmond have an opportunity to finish 2019 extremely strong, with showing us things that are going to be coming within possibly the next 12 months. What are you expecting from the event?
Well, to be honest, I think they're going to have a pretty good show. I think that they're going to reveal a new game, and what that game is anyone's guess. Now, he also just had another interview that I'm sure you guys heard.
Yes.
He said that, he mentioned new IPs coming. In Exile is working on Wastelands 3, but they're also working on another project. You have Ninja Theory working on Bleeding Edge, which I'm sure you're going to see at XO. And they're working on another project, which is going to be their AAA project. I'm pretty sure that that's going to be their big one. So it's going to be Hellblade 2, whatever, or new IP. That's up in the air as well. And then they also mentioned Obsidian, another heavy hitter who just hired another 14, or they're just looking to hire another 14, developers, AAA developers using the Unreal Engine 4 to make another game, which is, so they're working on, obviously, Outer Worlds, which the next Outer Worlds, if it's successful, will be exclusive to Xbox and PC, Microsoft. And they're working on Pillars, which is, that PC game, Pillars of Eternity. I never really played it. And they were also working on this big RPG. So you can, I would say that you could say that you have those potentials, one of those three developers, and you might have Rare too, because you got to realize that it's going to be taking place in UK, so they might do something where they celebrate a UK studio, which also could be when they could throw out Fable. Now, listen, I don't think they're going to do Fable, because I think Fable is something that they obviously have it's a feather in their cap. They can use it at E3 pretty much to close the show. Everyone's been asking about the game. It's the worst kept secret in the industry. It's obviously being worked. It's gonna be Playground's first open world RPG. So you got 5 studios right there that are potentials. I would say the most likely is a UK studio. So if you're gonna now bring that down, Rare, or Ninja Theory. So it could be Ninja Theory's game. It could be Hellblade 2. I doubt if they're going to be doing that. But that's my take. I think you were definitely going to see a game. What Aaron said is going to come true, I believe, obviously. And if it doesn't, I think he would hear a lot of criticism. But, when we're talking, I just listed 5 studios. This is they have a stable of 15 studios, and not many people could make the assumption that studios, or a lot of people that I've seen on social media, were like dumbfounded to the fact that studios make games, but obviously they do make games, and they got 50 of them. So you're gonna get a game for sure. I also think you're gonna get a ton of xCloud. I heard some xCloud tomorrow, but you're gonna get possibly, maybe they'll release xCloud preview that day.
Yes,
and
that'd be great.
I'm holding out what I personally want, because I'm a person that realizes studios make games, and the more studios you have, the more games are going to come into the pipeline. And the way Xbox is going about this Xbox Studio, I think, is really smart. They're taking these studios, they're building them, they're looking to bring them to a sizable amount where they can make a AAA scale game with a smaller type team, with these certain teams, kind of like what Ninja Theory perfected with Hellblade.
Yep. And
they're looking to do that, and I really think that that's smart. And you're going to get multiple games from multiple studios. From one single studio, you might get 1 or 2 or possibly 3. I mean, Rare is almost at 300 people, and that is ridiculous considering when I was on TXR, we interviewed Craig, and Craig said they were at 100 employees at the launch of Sea of Thieves, and they have contractors right now. They are at 252 at LinkedIn. Okay,
wow.
That's pretty much official Rare employees. They're almost at 300 people, I've heard. So the point is that if I get my wish, I hope they announce a new studio, because more studios obviously mean more games. So that's what I'm hoping for. But you're definitely going to be getting a game, and I think that it's going to be a nice game. But the big game, like Fable, I don't think that's going to be there. I think that they have to save that for E3.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of great points, Tim. I mean, and of course, I mean, look, I think everyone on this panel, almost 90 people listening, would love to see even just if it was just a logo, and confirmed who was working on it. But it's going to be interesting. But I want to get to of course Cybernox. But before I do, I have to do a couple of shout outs for super chats. First of all, Atrocity Knights with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, "Have you seen the patent of the razor-like switch? Do you think Xbox might do something like this, knowing Razer is doing accessories for Xbox?" Yeah, there's definitely a possibility of something coming from Razer, because they are partnered with Xbox. But we've seen some of the patents that Xbox themselves that have been floating around, where your phone is going to go in between what looks like the actual sticks from an Xbox One controller. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least. I tell you one thing, I hope that they do offer some sort of device where I could put my phone that makes it kind of like a Switch, just using Xbox, being able to play Xbox games. And the second one is from Elemental P. Thanks so much for the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, Xbox isn't afraid to fail quick and take risks. Even if it hasn't been perfect, this gen gave the Xbox consumer a lot to be happy with. Yeah, you know what, dude? That's a great point.
Yeah.
I've been a happy Xbox a fan. I mean, sure. Do we want more? Well, who doesn't? But again, I've walked away feeling like they're listening. You understand? Like, that's the big thing. They're hearing what we're saying. Phil made a lot of promises in 2017 when he took over, and I think that he has delivered on all those promises. Now, I said this on publicly, and I've actually had people come at me, well, he said VR and they didn't do it. So because they decided to go against VR because it still was wired. I mean, I've heard Phil say it on numerous interviews, and when it's wireless and it makes sense for the platform, they'll get involved. But you know what? VR is just not that big of a thing, folks. I mean, and if that's the only thing that you're going to run with, well, then Phil has really kept up on his word. But Cybernox, let me go to you on this. What are you expecting from X019, where the eyes of the world are going to be on the Xbox brand?
Well, I think just like Tim Dog alluded to, I think they need to show a couple things, and they are going to show things from some of their studios, especially maybe some of the studios that their origins are based over there in England. I'm thinking I would love to see if maybe they can. I know racing is big over there. Maybe something from Forza. That would be interesting. Maybe they can give everybody a sneak peek. But I think it's gonna be something maybe from Ninja Theory's maybe Hellblade 2, kind of like what Tim Dog said. But I think they have to save the big bangers for E3. E3 2020 is gonna be where they have to bring out all their guns, all their heavy hitters, because everybody's gonna be there again, and all eyes are gonna be at E3 2020 again. But what I think is going to happen during XO 2019 is I think they're going to have a official price drop on the Xbox One X.
Oh, that's
I think
smart.
I think they'll probably drop it down drop the price right before the holidays, and keep that price. That's going to be the new MSRP for the Xbox One X, and I'm just hoping for a great show. XO 2018 in Mexico City. I love the energy, man.
The fans were rabid, dude. It was
amazing.
Great. Yes.
Like, you can feel the energy, and that that gave everybody there, all the hosts, energy. Everybody was having a good time, and I just hope that we get to see something that excites all of us. And I think it's a wait and see moment, but there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to see a couple of games.
Yeah, and I think so. I mean, Aaron Greenberg actually said when he was being interviewed regarding X019 that we were going to get to see something that's never been seen. So I don't know what that is. I'm excited to find out, definitely, because obviously the Xbox platform now supports 15 developers, whereas if you look back to 18 to 20 months ago, they only had 6. So it's a big step up. But before I get to Nautical, I have to thank Robert Olson with the outstandingly generous $20 super chat. He says, "Thanks, Boom and Panel, for keeping it classy. Much appreciated." Well, first of all, thanks so much for being here. Thank you, of course, for the generosity. That is wow, dude. Thank you so much. And Nautical, I want to go to you because, like I said, you are in the business, per se, and not only just as a gamer, but you're actually in the business. What would you like to see Xbox debut or show off at X019 while they have the world watching?
Man, it's so much they can show. I mean, the biggest thing is I just want them to show good games, honestly. It's a lot of different things, directions they can go. Fable, they can announce and talk about the next Forza game, which is going to probably be, because they're over in Germany, so they can talk about a whole bunch of a myriad of things. Me being selfish, I'm a huge Halo fan. I can always get more and more about Halo because I feel like that game doesn't get enough credit for what I think they're trying to do with it. But I also know they're going to blow the lid off that thing next year at E3. So, I'm willing to wait just to get more information around that. For me, I just want to know what's coming with the next console. Like, what are we expecting? What games should we be looking out for? I'm tired of kind of just sitting back and waiting for that to happen. I know that's the one thing a lot of us Xbox fans are. We're very content with what we have because Microsoft has definitely stepped it up. Okay, yep. Microsoft has completely done a 180 in their approach and how they actually want to talk about their games and stuff. People talked about the marketing and stuff, and Gears of War marketing blew it out of the water towards the very latter end of what they were doing. So I think they have an idea of what they need to do in their approach. I just want to see what the games are at this point now. We know Ninja Theory's game. We don't know what the second studio over at Playground is working on. Initiative, they've been hiring for this big game that, in multiple teams. So we definitely just want to get some clarity on that type of stuff. I don't expect them to blow the lid completely off at XO. But when you say new game announcements, games being shown, world premieres of this and that, I don't want it to be games that are third party. I don't want it to be it's cool to get those games that's going to be in Game Pass because, Game Pass is a really good option. And, if you can get a really good third party game that's going to be in Game Pass day one, definitely talk about it. But when you say new games, I'm expecting your games to be the games that are going to be the ones that's going to show up at XO because this is your event. You're building it to be basically the PlayStation experience equivalent for Xbox, and that's what I want to see at that event. But I'm willing to wait and see exactly what it's going to be. I don't expect it to be this overblown grand jury of a thing because E3 next year is going to be that, which we'll all be at. But yeah, just show me the games you have on the plate, and that's the only thing I'm really looking forward to for that.
No, unless it's the new Batman game, they can show it all day.
No, if they show the new Batman game, I'm with you on that because it's really overdue at this point.
It almost seems as if they're punishing us for wanting to play as Batman. And Batman Day just happened. We talked about the opening, and of course there were some cryptic tweets hinting or basically confirming. I mean, listen, I'm just going to say it's basically confirmed that the Court of Owls are going to play a big part in the next Arkham game, whatever it's going to be called.
I say that jokingly, but I think they might announce something this year, whether it be at an Xbox event or a PlayStation event or something else. Something might be announced this year for the next Batman game. Especially with all these cryptic messages that they just sent out. They've been dormant for a long time.
For a really long time, yeah.
There might be something coming.
Well, XO is coming down the pipeline, so it's
at least we don't have to worry about the controllers because controllers will already be out by that time.
Yes, so thank goodness for that.
The controller will be out. All the different color controllers will be out. So we only got to worry about controllers at XO this year.
Well, listen, I'm gonna. All I know is that I'm very excited. But Tempestsun, I want to go to you next, dude, because obviously we were talking pregame, and obviously we're excited for XO because you know, when you look at what the potential of this show is, like I said, if everyone walked away, depending on who you ask, some people walked away, you know, disappointed at E3. Some people, like myself, really enjoyed it. Maybe because I was there. Maybe because I was at the event that I enjoyed it more. I don't even know what to say. But all I can tell you is I'm very excited because I don't think that Aaron Greenberg would go and say that they're going to show us something, new games that we've never seen before, and a whole bunch of a whole bunch of titles that we didn't know what they were working on, and not deliver. I think it would be terrible PR. What are you expecting from X019, and what would completely blow your socks off?
Ooh, blow my socks off. Gosh, man. They have some seriously talented developers under their wing now. Pretty much anything new from Ninja Theory. I mean, it's way too early to see what New Initiative's doing, but seeing the cast and the crew they're putting together is just like, holy crap. Seeing something new would just, anything new, honestly, blow my socks off, because they're calling this the biggest inside Xbox, and I don't think it's fair to say that they can't show anything big on an inside Xbox show. Because to be fair, if it wasn't leaked that they were buying Obsidian Entertainment, I think that announcement alone last year would have made that show way bigger if it was actually a surprise.
Yeah, I agree.
But we knew about it way before it happened, so it's just like, okay, well, yeah. But that's awesome. It would have been totally different. So I see no reason why they can't surprise us this time. A couple of things like inside or this time around, I'm sorry, I had a point. I was thinking about it, and I just completely left my head. But yeah, no, I am looking forward to it. Geez, it's really bothering me. I had a point I wanted to make. Maybe go to Clowns and come back to me. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll do that. Well, Clowns, let me go to you, brother, because I'm sure you've been chomping at the bit to talk about this particular topic. Obviously XO is going to be big, and it's closing out the year of shows, because normally there's you have the Game Awards in December. You have you're gonna have I don't even know if we're gonna get a PSX this year, because it hasn't been announced as of yet. Now Sony could do that. Sony could very well do it, but as we know, the biggest show is X019 to close out 2019. What are your expectations, and what would completely knock you off your kilter?
I'm gonna be honest here, Boom. With the Xbox shows, unless it's E3, I don't expect much anymore, because I don't want to be let down. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's Xbox fault. I just think a lot of times, they got stuff in the pipeline that they don't want to talk about until they're ready to talk about it.
Okay.
So if X019 was to blow my mind, it would be anything about Fable. Something about Fable. A teaser, something to say, hey, look forward to E3, we'll see more Fable there. Anything to allude to Fable, and then X019 won in my mind.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. It's short, it's sweet, and I think everybody. Would you like to talk? You remember your point, brother?
I remember my point. Yeah. Tim Dog was saying something about some of these studios being able to work on multiple things, and it is absolutely true. Some of these studios can be very diverse in what they do, but in the least of all expected place ever, a EA studio. This is living proof. I don't know if you've seen it, but Battlefront 2. I know this is like almost off topic, but it's not. I have a point. Battlefront 2 is getting a huge update. A new planet, bunch of new maps, new fighting characters, units, you name it, whole shebang. They're also updating Battlefield 5 consistently. That game's constantly been getting updates, and they're probably making the next Battlefield after that. So that's just one studio doing multiple things. So I mean, that's proof alone that some of these studios can do a bunch of different things at once. And he was going on about the how many people these studios have, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got something from Rare, something, maybe even Ninja Theory's game, because one of the things Phil said is he doesn't want to announce games too far out. See, he said like 12 to 18 months is the sweet spot. Well, guess what? In 12 to 18 months, we're going to have a new console on our hands. And it's not just Halo that they're going to launch with. It's going to be probably 2 or 3 new games at least. So I could see them at least announcing one of those launch titles for the Scarlet at their own event. So.
No, that's actually a really great point, and I'm glad you remembered it, because obviously it closes out this particular topic in a big way. For me personally, I just want to know. Listen. I understand. Everyone says that's the worst kept secret in the gaming universe, right? We know they know, we know that we want Fable, right? I think they're well aware of it, and it would be great. It would be something special. It would be epic. It would be. The internet would stop. Do you understand what I'm saying? That the word Fable for Xbox, when you move Xbox and Fable together, regardless of what flag you fly, the world is going to stop and listen to what has to be said. Now, if that's something as simple as a logo and who's developing it, like let's say, for instance, it is Playground Games, like everyone has been alluding to, like that's been rumored since 2 years already. It would be amazing to have the head of the studio come out on stage. Phil bring him out, or Aaron bring him out, or your Barbara bring him out, and say, listen, we have heard the cries of the people. We have trolled social media. We know that you guys want Fable. We don't have anything to show you today, but we're going to do something that I think is going to excite the fans. And we're going to confirmation studio, whatever is doing it. And yes, we are working on a Fable game. And I'm telling you, the crowd would go freaking bananas, because it would be confirmed that the game is in fact in active development, and who is finally confirmed to be that developer in active development. I think that's what needs to happen. It's something I hope that happens.
If I can make just one more point,
please, by all means, go right ahead, dude.
And it's all true. And I one thing that I would like for them to stop saying is like, oh, this XO is gonna be the biggest one, or this, like, try to hype it up using something else, because they say the same thing, in my opinion, like every year. Oh, this XO is gonna be the biggest one, But I understand why they need to say it, try to hype people up, but use a different tactic.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, listen, at this point, it's gonna be a fun event. I'm really looking forward to it, and I have to give a huge shout out and thank you to Dealer Gaming, who's in the chat. Dealer, welcome, dude. Yes, man. That guy is a rock star, in my opinion. I love everything that he does. And of course,
he's the real deal.
Oh yeah, he is the real deal. That is for sure. And
I'm sorry, one more thing on the show. I was just gonna say too, they need to find out who this show is for, XO is for, and try to really get down with that demographic. Whoever's watching that show, if it's either the hardcore or some casuals, they really need to focus on that group of individuals and try to make that show for them.
Yes.
Don't try to please everybody. Try to please that core group that is consistently there watching that show, because everybody knows that the hardcore typically influences the casuals. So if the hardcore is excited for XO, then it will trickle down to the casuals as well.
No, I absolutely agree. And you know what? Before we get off this topic, LMNOP drops an additional $5 super chat, and he says, and Tim, this question is for you. Tim, any chance Phil wants to announce xCloud public beta soon, like X019? Is there a chance?
Yeah, I think you might get some information tomorrow. So it's either going to be tomorrow or XO. I'm thinking through the grapevine, maybe hearing things that XO is coming next month in preview. So
I cannot wait.
Keep your ears open tomorrow. There should be a segment on xCloud, and maybe something that I've kind of critical of them. We find some information regarding xCloud. One of the reasons why I don't think that they've talked about it a lot or specifically is they want it right. People mocked. Would you ship that? And we're referring to journalists that played xCloud. But the fact of the matter is that they are dealing with something that is in the process of getting worked on, and
It's actually
they
being
want it
made
right.
as we speak.
Yes, and I mean, you've tried it.
Yes, it was
I've
great.
tried it, and it wasn't really in a controlled setting because you had 20 Bluetooth devices going on, everyone streaming from the Wi-Fi that was in the building. I think you came away impressed. I just think that they really have a high standard for this. They don't want. I was hit up once by one of the guys, the technical guys, and they're like, that 67 milliseconds that's in your name, that's very hard to hit. And I said, yes, I do. And, and the reason why I put it in my Twitter is because Verge tested it, and they got 67 milliseconds of lag, basically. And, when talking about streaming, that's almost double better than or lower than Stadia. So, and we went back and forth, and it was a good conversation because the gist of it is that they're trying to really do something that's not been attempted before. They're trying to hit numbers that, are very hard to attain. To hit 67 milliseconds, considering everything, is very hard to do. It's just not easy over a network and carriers and hops and everything that goes on with the infrastructure of how we get our data. But the fact of the matter is that to even be in that ballpark and to even recognize that that's maybe something that they could hit or be around is pretty special in my opinion. So I think that's why they haven't talked about it. I think that they want to do it right. I think you're going to get some announcements tomorrow. I think you're going to get some sign-ups in October, and I think that's going to further along. I really believe that they're going to push out xCloud. Their goal is at the launch, like to have it like ready right at the launch. Everyone is ready to play. No ifs, ands, or buts. Could
so
be earlier
hyped for
than
this
that.
technology. Oof.
But that's the bottom line. So I would say just keep your ears open tomorrow.
Oh, well, it's something I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to because, like I said, like you just said a second ago, we got a chance to use it. I played Halo 5. And I actually was lucky enough to talk to one of the developers who it wasn't tethered to anything. Like most of the stations had the cord. He let me walk around with it. He goes, "Hey, I was with King from Iron Lord's podcast, and I was playing Halo 5." With the controller in my hand on a little phone, and it looked and played freaking amazing. I listen, if you want to see what it looks like and you want to hear me talking about it, I have a few videos. They're a little older now. They're from E3, obviously, but check it. You see, I'm playing it, and Halo 5 is right there. It is something that no other company is doing. It is the first, like Tim was saying, the first attempt at something so big and so genre changing. That this is what Microsoft does. Now, sure, do they miss the mark every now and again when they're too ahead of the curve? Sure, we've seen it happen, especially DRM right in the beginning of this generation. People were like, "What do you mean I can't share games?" And so, listen, I played it. Tim played it. King from the Iron Lords played it. It is a game changer, and it's going to be pretty incredible that if you're someone like me, I have 900 plus games for my Xbox, spanning three generations, the OG, the 360, and the Xbox One. And the ideology of being able to play that on the go with just a controller and your phone, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I think that X019 or even the Inside Xbox is going to allude to it a little bit, give us maybe a sneak peek of someone actually using it that knows what they're doing. It would be fantastic. But I want to move on to the next topic. Tim, I'm going to go to you first on this. I pulled this story from DualShockers. And, apparently they're reporting that Activision is making some big promises, stating that most post-launch content for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, one of the hottest FPS games to release this year, which will be releasing, I believe, the 25th, right along with The Outer Worlds, which is bananas. But all of their post-launch content across all platforms is going to be free. And, you know, the one thing that's been interesting about this whole thing is, you know, since the days of the Xbox 360 and PS3 era, marketing deals regarding the Call of Duty franchise has really been like the biggest thing in gaming. You know, who has the marketing? And as we know, Sony still has that marketing. And, you know, in the 360 era, it was the Xbox platform. But with that said, the tug of war, it seems like it's going to be coming to an end, because not only is all of the post-launch content going to be free, Tim, in a new blog post from Activision today, the publisher revealed that nearly all post-launch content that comes from Modern Warfare will be hitting all platforms at once, rather than coming in earlier on one and then coming late to the other. This move seemingly it makes sense if there's going to be cross-play, and it's going to make cross-play easier. Now, the beta has been going on, I believe it was this weekend. I don't play Call of Duty Online, so I didn't play, but I watched several people that do videos on it, and it looks very impressive, to say the least. But, you know, here's my question to you, Tim. Are you happy to finally see the unfair practice of content being held back from one platform, and finally that seems like those walls are coming down because crossplay is going to be a big thing? Are you excited to see PS4 guys or gals versus the Xbox community and the PC and vice versa?
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of crossplay. If you guys obviously, you've seen my Twitter, I've always said that it's a great idea. I think it's a way of, you know, there's a lot of times in gaming, you know, gamers, whatever, from being platform, you know, enthusiasts or whatever, and fanboys, they kind of push each other away. I find this is a way of actually bringing gamers together. And what I would love to see is actually, you know, being a way to rep your console, and, you know, seeing that you're playing on a PlayStation or an Xbox, and kind of bring gamers together in that way. So I think there's a ton of potential with cross-platform. So I'm very happy to see that. As far as the practices, listen, it's a business. I disagree with Phil's stance that exclusive games.
Yep, I'm right there with you.
You know, because I feel like it's a business. I mean, you're a New York guy, you realize it. They're out to get you. You got to be able to fight fire with fire. And when I think really, you know, you remember the time when Call of Duty signed with Sony. It was a big deal.
It was a big deal. Yes.
It was such a big deal, and it kind of hurt Xbox. I mean, if you remember, Xbox had all the exclusive games that holiday, and Sony had the no exclusive. I think they had Little Big Planet 3, and they won the holiday. So, you know, you hear these exclusive arguments. You know, it just keeps jumping back and forth to fit what narrative fits whatever. But in my opinion, I'm hoping the practice. You know, listen, I hope that if it still goes on, Xbox partakes in it. If it goes away, that's a great thing. But I don't think that Sony is ponying up the money this with this. I guess their deal came up and they said they didn't pony up the money, and pardon the pun, but you know, this is a good thing. You know, this is a good thing. I think the cross-platform, cross-play, and hopefully in the future, cross-progression, where, you know, you play wherever you play and your stats follow you, really becomes a reality, because that, in my opinion, is your right as a gamer. If you play on the PC and then you play the same game on a PS4 and then you play the same game on the Xbox, you should be tracked fully and wholly. You shouldn't say, yes, no, because I played on the PlayStation Network, those stats are excluded. That's bullshit. That's anti-consumer. That's anti-customer. You should have your stats. You should have your logged games and everything available to you, and there's no reason not to. So I'm really happy to answer the question.
You know, I mean, listen, I'm going to say this. I think that crossplay is important, right? And I've said this publicly as well. But what you just said, cross progression, you're right as a gamer. I don't know why this wasn't thought about, because like you said, you keep talking about business. See, folks, at the end of the day, gaming is a business, and they're in to make money for their investors, right? Like we look at it through the fans' perspective. Very similar to your favorite sports teams. Like, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I'm not ashamed to say it. We sucked this year. Ben is out, and we're 0-3. Forget it. Basically, I'm looking for draft picks at this point. But my point is the cross progression. And Tim, by you saying the right as a gamer, if you and I went out and enjoy playing it on, let's say for instance, the Xbox, and you bought another copy for the PC, maybe you wanted, maybe you changed, maybe you said, you know what, I'm going to sell this copy and I want to play on PC because it has the better scalers. I can do 60 4K, no problem. It would be kind of shitty, to be honest with you, if you had to play, let's say you put 18, 20 hours into that into your online character, and you have to redo that. This is fantastic news. Clowns, I want to go to you first, dude, because you obviously are a social kind of a dude. You're always talking with people on social media and getting your podcast on. Basically everything that has an antenna is Four Guys with Quarters is on. Do you like the idea that not only are we getting cross progression, cross saves, cross play, but that the content is going to be coming to all platforms at once?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, this is what gaming should be, right? We should be able to play where we want, how we want to play, and who we want to play with. I mean, so just to give you an example, right, with this Call of Duty crossplay stuff, Inferno had it on PS4, Assassin and I had it on Xbox One, and we actually all played together perfectly fine, no issues, using the Xbox Party Chat app. Inferno was able to talk to us from the PC while we were on Xbox. How cool is that? I mean, that is awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and the cross progression was amazing too, because I was in the PS4 beta and all my stuff carried over perfectly fine for Xbox through Activision's system. So I'm amazed by them. This is where gaming should be going.
You know what? That's a great point. And at the end of the day, folks, hashtag fun, right? That's what gaming is supposed to be about. Cybernox, I want to go to you next on this. Are you finally happy to see that we're getting all of these futuristic advances, with which I think we should have had at least 2 years ago? I mean, it seems like we're going to be in another dimension, but you're going to be able to get cross saves, cross play, and all the bells and whistles. And on top of that, all the content outside of a scarf or something, I'm sure, is going to be, maybe exclusive to one brand or another. Are you happy that because of the cross-play and the cross progression, that we're also going to get content dropped for everyone at once?
I'm super happy. I have friends that game on Xbox, PC, PS4, Switch. I'm sure like everyone here on the panel. So crossplay is something very, very beneficial to me. Kind of like Clowns. I had friends this weekend that we were all in the beta. I had friends on PS4. I was on my Xbox. I had friends on PC.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. We're all playing together for it's been a very long time. Everyone went their separate ways. After a certain time, some people went with the PlayStation, some people just came on PC, some people on Xbox. So to bring that community together, the gaming community together, it's an amazing feeling. I think it's important that these developers evolve with how gaming is evolving. Gaming is not what it used to be, 10, 20 years ago. Gaming now is becoming something more of a culture. You can play games wherever. You see more and more people. Look at Fortnite. Fortnite is literally everywhere.
Yep.
And that generation coming up, it's going to expect something similar to that, where they're going to be able to play their games wherever they want. They want cross save, so they're going to be able to play in one place and keep their progression and another console, another device that they have. The only thing that concerns me is, everybody knows that Activision is all about that cash money.
Yeah,
So I don't know. They're saying it's going to be free content here and a post drop this. I'll just wait and see with Activision. Let's see. I hope that I'm not sure if they already confirmed this, but are all the maps?
Yeah, so all the maps are free from what I understand.
all the maps are free, so at least they want to keep the Call of Duty community together. You know, because that's
Yes.
something that's always been a problem, where some of your friends bought the map pack,
And you
some
didn't, and you're
then
kind
all
of
of a
asked
sudden you're
out. Yep.
dividing the community, and especially now with crossplay and cross progression enabled. So they definitely have to on that side they got to take a little bit of a hit, but Call of Duty is a huge game. I think it was a big mistake on Xbox to let that
Yep.
go marketing wise. But I'm happy where after playing the beta, I'm happy where Call of Duty is headed. I really enjoyed the gameplay, enjoyed the pace of it, and I
I
can't
heard
wait to
that the
see what
camping
happens.
was still
So,
a big problem, though.
I think it's normal though. In a that's what I don't understand. Like when I play a beta, I go crazy.
You want to see everything, right? Don't you want to see everything?
Shit that
Yeah.
I never do. I'm jumping off of this. I'm trying all the new guns. I'm trying everything. Like I played Ground War, was insane. So camping is always going to be an issue, and I think on the Call of Duty game, the realism mode was by far my favorite mode. I loved playing that. There's literally there's nothing on the screen. There's no hit marker. There's no nothing. If you're aiming at someone, you better be aiming down sight so you can get some precision hits going. But
Nice.
We'll see what happens with Activision.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, before I get to Tempestsun, because he is an online assassin, I want to get his opinion on this. LMNOP with the outstanding additional $5 super chat. He says, panel, where does Japan fall into cross-play plans? Do you think Xbox plans to increase focus on Japan support next gen? Tim, if you wouldn't mind, would you mind answering that? Because I think you have your ear to the floor. I know we know that that Phil himself has gone to Japan at least 8 times that we know about, and it's probably been more. Do you have an answer for this particular question, Tim?
Well, I can say this much. I know that if we get a new studio, most likely it's going to be from Japan.
Nice.
I've heard from multiple people, just put it this way, from really good sources. It's that he said it himself. He said it himself to it. But I've actually heard further like if they were to look, that would really be his preference. One of the things that he's looking to do is, I think Yoshida once talked about how, he had developers in, regions of the world all over. And I think that he's looking to build Xbox Game Studios, along with Matt Booty, to be a global thing, to have, a focus UK, specifically why they picked the place in California. It's a very
it's a central hub for developers.
Right, it's a central hub. They're looking for not only they're looking for to bring it all together, and I think Japan is a want of Phil's, and probably Matt's. As far as it happening, I don't have anything that I've heard recently. I have heard that it's something that they are looking to do. Depends on the studio. It might be a little bit tougher because of where it is and maybe their laws. I've heard there's some things like you can't, if you're an American company, you can't buy certain Japan companies, certain things like that. Maybe there's little roadblocks here and there, but I do think that when it's all said and done, Xbox is going to have some type of presence in Japan, and I think it's going to be a studio. I wouldn't be surprised if they also get a studio in France. Sobo, I think that right now Sobo is not ready to sign, but I do think that
that'd be a big pickup for them. You guys
seen the flight sim stuff. I mean that stuff, using the Azure technology and the stuff that's coming from Flight Sim is pretty sick.
Yeah, people are discounting that game. That's going to be a huge first party game.
That
for
thing,
them.
I had to look at it about 5 times. I was like, "Is this a real picture? Is this a real picture?"
No,
I was like, I could not believe it. Tim, do you think using the resources to try and get in the Japanese market. You think it's smart of them though? They've tried it so many times and it has always been
It's been a fail.
has been a failure. Has never been a success. So everybody
Yeah.
knows
Yeah, I
insanity.
think
The
that
definition
also
of
is into
insanity.
the
So
equation too. But my take is I do think that they might get a studio, and that will be the next studio. So hopefully, maybe we hear about it XO. If not, I don't know. It's a 50-50 thing, in my opinion. Like Cyber was saying, they've tried it here, but I think that if they do bring it and the games and if the game is multiplayer, it'll definitely be and multiplat with PC. I think it'll be cross-platform. I think that's obviously that's where Xbox is going.
I think, Tim, I got to be honest with you. I think this is where xCloud comes into play, because the Japanese market is really shied away from home
Handheld.
consoles. Yeah, they're a mobile generation there, and if you get xCloud up and running, and you get a Japanese first-party studio making games, a multiplayer game that is on the level of something like a Monster Hunter. I'm not saying that's what they're making. I'm saying that if you do something that big, you could have success in Japan.
Yeah, the PS4 doesn't even do great over there. They're very into handheld gaming.
Yes, so that's why the Switch does very well there, because obviously it's on the go. I'm glad that you jumped in, because I actually want to get your opinion on all of the stuff coming to Call of Duty across the platforms. But AJ Cool J actually says something in the chat. I thought you would be you're the person to ask. Would you like to see some PlayStation 4 versus Xbox contests pushed and supported by both Microsoft and Sony, when Call of Duty comes out? How does that sound to you? AJ, thanks for the question, dude.
Well, of course it sounds great. A little bit of competition never hurt anybody. That'd be awesome to me. Yeah, on that topic, I mean, to the actual topic for tonight on COD, listen, it's the right thing to do. There's been many companies do this. I think, not that they've been pioneering it, but way back with Gears 4 and Halo 5, doing this. They don't want to split the community. Battlefield 5 went to that model where the future updates are free. Whenever you come out with a paid expansion, it splits your community. And you don't want to do that with these types of games. But listen, Activision, they're going to make their money. I don't know what it is, but they're going to monetize the hell out of this game. Hopefully, it's just cosmetics. If it's just cosmetics, who the heck cares? Like,
exactly.
Who cares? As far as the game goes, I made sure I tested as much as I could. Let me start off before I get into my critiques, let me get off by saying this. Just by playing the multiplayer beta, like for you yourself, Boom, you are probably going to love the campaign in this game. They took their own graphics. It is a new engine. Fantastic. It plays good. The sound, finally, I feel like they're in the same league, or at least really close to being in the same league as DICE with their sound design. It's very, very good. They stepped it up so incredibly well. So for like the campaign, I think you're love it. I see a lot of positivity about the multiplayer, the beta. Me, myself, like I said, they improved the sound, the way the guns feel, the overall graphics. But to me, first off, the crossplay is amazing. I got to give credit where credit's due. I tested it on PC and on Xbox, and I didn't even know they were doing cross save. But when I played PC second, I booted the thing up and I was level 12 or whatever, and I had my guns all customized. And I was like, really? I was like, I didn't even know they were going to do it. And so I just experienced firsthand. It was awesome. It is very cool. All games should freaking do this. It was just a good feeling not having to re-put in that work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But as far as the actual game goes, I think you're in the honeymoon period. A lot of people are having fun with it, but 20 hours in, if you get spawn killed for about the 953rd time, you're going to be like, oh, the spawns are so bad. They're laughably bad on all modes. The smaller game modes, when the enemies shoot, you don't see a red dot pop up on the mini map. I don't want to say the maps are terrible, but no matter what way you maneuver, there's at least like 6 different angles for people to shoot you. Right now, the M4 pretty much is hands down the best gun in the game. It legitimately, at this point, makes it completely pointless to use any other weapon because you're doing yourself a disservice. But all these things, like all these problems. Oh, and I do think, like, for the ground war mode, that was the most fun I had. They need to put a bit more. Yeah, it was insane. I do feel like, just for the health of the game, they maybe need to take the kill streaks and bump them up 1 or 2 kills because there's just so much more to shoot at. I mean, you can get lucky and get a flank off on 6 people. There were
tanks, like 3 helicopters, another gunship. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah. It was too much. I thought.
It's just too much. Now, there's some lag. I don't think the tick rate is 60 hertz. I don't believe. I was dying behind corners a lot. When I get into these shooters, I like being critical. I like really being into them.
Well, you're an assassin, so you want the premier experience.
Yeah. So the time to kill, and this is a touchy subject, but I think the time to kill is way too fast because the M4 is ridiculous. They could nerf it, but even besides the M4, if somebody so much as looks at you, your arms fall off and you die. You know, it's insane. So, great. But the one thing I will say is all of these problems, except maybe the map design, all of these problems can be fixed. They're not unfixable. So the bones there are really good. I'm very impressed with how much they've improved it since the last few titles. So like I said, if you like COD campaigns, this one's going to knock your socks off probably just because of the graphics and sound. If you like the multiplayer, they have a lot of work to do, but it's all fixable things.
Okay.
So that's on it.
No, that's actually a great point, and you really went into your real specific detail. I'm happy about that because I haven't played it. And closing out today, this particular topic is going to be gaming Forte. Now, Forte, my question to you is very simple: are you happy to see the cross-play, cross-progression working as well as it is? And are you happy to know that the maps are going to be dropped day and date for everyone, so everyone can enjoy trying to kill each other?
So, man, I didn't play in the first weekend because of PlayStation only, and I played on Xbox. And man, I was in a party in a game with PC people, Xbox people, PlayStation people. It was crazy. I took a screenshot of it and I was like, man, this is the life. I was like,
isn't that what we all want to strive for?
That's what we all should strive for.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm not all into the whole console war thing, but man, this is a console war. If you want a real console war, this is what it is. Call of Duty, who got the better players on that system? If you want to engage in that type of console war, I'm all in for it. I'm like, let's go. Let me get my people, you get your people. Let's have some inter-clan war stuff.
That's awesome.
That's what excited me the most when Call of Duty did it. And man, at first I didn't know how I really felt about the free content, because the one thing that I really feel that Battlefield stuff suffered from is not having it, because yes, they do give it to you for free, but we didn't get as much content in Battlefield 5 as we did in Battlefield 1, which had the pass. So you kind of just wonder, are they going to really step it up and give you just as much content as you did before when you were paying for the content and it was already paid for and everything like that? But Call of Duty is one of those games that I don't think Activision is really going to skip on it, because people play Call of Duty all year long. They wait till the new version comes out before they do anything. And plus, it's Modern Warfare. It's like the granddaddy. It's like my favorite Call of Duty of all of them. And when I played this game, I felt like 2007 playing this game.
Oh, wow. That's really saying something.
But just literally running around with people on different platforms, and it is incredible. I mean, like what they just said, you were able to take your character, even in the beta, you were able to take your character from one system to another, and everything transfers seamlessly. And I was like, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want in a game, because, the Destiny grind is rough. As much as I love that they got cross,
It's real.
As much as I love cross progression in games, and cross progression, if anybody was to say that is the most important thing, is to have your game move from one platform to another. Even if cross play was not a thing, it's just the fact that developers should have realized this a long time ago. I just think that they were letting the platform holders kind of like jive them into thinking like, no, we just need you to be. We want our community to be on our system and this and that, blah blah blah. But the developers win in this because I went out and bought 3 copies of Destiny.
Yep, so did my brother.
I have 3 copies on play. I have 3 copies of the DLC for Destiny because I'm gonna play on all systems with everybody. I haven't bought a Call of Duty game in 2 years because I refused to support a game that didn't have a single player, and I just wasn't into the one before that. So I was like, this one I already bought it on 2 platforms just because I know cross progression and cross play is there. And
Bungie needs to send you a medal. Just saying.
Hey, well, I should have tweeted them. I should have mentioned them in that tweet of that collector's edition for $24.99 because I bought an extra copy of Destiny just for a messenger bag.
Yeah.
But ultimately, man, this is a really good thing. All it does is just strengthen a strength when it comes to the gamers in general. I feel like cross progression and cross play are something that are. It's like we put too much time into these games as it is. You know, if I think about all the games that I played over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, Battlefield 4 is probably the game outside of Destiny I put the most time into, which was well over 300, 400 hours in that game. The next closest game to that is God of War, which was over 60. Destiny
I did 60 plus in God of War as well.
Destiny takes up the rest of that time. It's like it's some games in there sprinkled 12 hours here, 13, 20 hours there, but games are way too involved now. Just think about how much time you put into games like Assassin's Creed, in games like Spider-Man, in games like Division 1 and Division 2.
I put 200 hours into the new Assassin's Creed.
Rainbow Six is going into their 4th season.
Yep.
And if you want to get into that game on a different platform, tough luck. You got to start all over again. And I'm not about that life no more. So the more games that do this, the better. And we can have real console wars, not this fake conversation that we have about what system sold more. Who's better at stick game than anybody else? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I can say that I'm very excited about Call of Duty. I because I'm going to be able to play with so many people from different platforms, I might give this a shot. I don't know, but I definitely getting that collector's edition that comes with the night vision goggles because that looks super dope. Real quick, I have to thank my awesome wife, Josette Rivera, who drops an outstanding $20 super chat, and she shouted me out. She says, "Happy early birthday to my dear Mr. Boom. So proud of what you've accomplished." Thank you, honey. I really appreciate that. Yes, I'm going to be the ripe old age of 49 on the 25th, which is a couple of days away. So I'm getting closer to the life is halfway over at 50.
Look, she just gave you money down towards that extra copy of Call of Duty right
well, there you go. Yes.
There it is. She just made it $20 cheaper.
Well, listen, I want to move on to the next topic because it's one that no one is talking about. I saw the trailer. I put the trailer in the DM, and like a boob, I did not actually send the trailer to Tim, so I'm hoping that he saw it. There's a new Terminator game coming out, folks. It's called Terminator Resistance, and it releases November 15th on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC players. And now we can battle Skynet in the new shooter that looks completely awesome. If you did not see this trailer, OMG, it is awesome looking. Now, I don't know how the game is going to play, but the game looks amazing. Now, it's been quite a year for the Terminator franchise in gaming. First, there was a promotion for the, of course, upcoming, Gears 5 that we were going to get the new Terminator and Sarah Connor, right? The T-800 showed up in it hasn't released yet, but showed up in Mortal Kombat 11 with Arnold's likeness, though not his voice. They should have gotten Nuke Nukem because he does a really good Arnold. And now it seems there's going to be a full adaptation coming the way of Terminator Resistance. And I got to be honest with you, in what I believe it's a very underused property, I am super stoked to play Arnold in MK11, use Sarah Connor and the new exoskeleton in Gears 5, and now I'm definitely picking up Terminator Resistance. The game is actually being made by Reef Entertainment, and it's played in a first and third person perspective set 30 years after Judgment. You play as Jacob Rivers, a soldier in the Resistance Pacific Division. Despite being a private, he mysteriously becomes targeted by Skynet, and that's when all the action ensues. Now, here's my question. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. Tim, did you watch the video of the new Terminator game by any chance?
I have to say I haven't. I'm looking at. I saw you said that you put it in the notes, but I didn't see it. I'm going to look it up. Let me ask you a question, though. Is there a Terminator movie coming out?
Yeah, of course there is. Yes, if there's a new Terminator. Yes.
One of the telltale things, and I don't want to rain on your parade, but you're a bigger gamer than I am. I will admit that, with your 267,000, whatever that crazy gamer score you gave me. Usually those games suck. I'm going to be honest.
I know.
I'm going to look at the trailer now when I stop, and I'm gonna give it a chance. But 9 out of 10 times those games suck. So I'm gonna wait for the meta for it. I'm gonna tell you right now, but I'm going to look at it right now and see if I see something that I like.
Okay, you know what? I will definitely come back to you. I'll go to Cybernox first. Again, this is not a topic that's going to blow the roof off of today's show, but it's, again, I like talking about things that no one is really talking about, and I'm a big Terminator fan. I mean, for crying out loud, I saw the first one in the theater, and that's why you can match the age with the fact that I actually said that publicly. But I'm excited. The trailer looks great, and you know what? There's a good potential, Cyber, that the game is going to stink. It's a really good chance. But with that said, I'm willing to take the dive because I'm such a fan. Did you get a chance to take a look at the trailer, and what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I took a look at. I know you posted it on the show notes for us, and I did watch the trailer. The trailer actually looked pretty good. It looked intriguing. I thought where they're going with the story. It is interesting. I got a Battlefront vibe from it with all the machines.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You see a bunch of different. The machines are shooting, so it's all the lasers are coming off, and I like the third and first person perspective of the game. But I don't know what they're trying to do here. If they're trying to make a transition here towards gaming because things are not going too well with their movies. I don't know. The last movie that I watched from Terminator was the one with Christian Bale. I actually enjoyed that one quite a lot.
That actually was pretty good.
That was pretty good. But I don't know what to expect from this game. It looked good. The trailer looked good. Graphically, it looked pretty impressive. But besides that, I think it's a wait and see, kind of like what Tim Dog alluded to. You kind of want to watch the Metacritic on this one and
be like a 45. Like, I'm not getting that game.
See what most people are saying. And you know what? With all their partnership that they have, like you said, Sarah Connor is on Gears. This might be a Game Pass game.
Oh, dude, that would be great.
It might come to Game Pass. Hey, we never know. Nowadays, Xbox and their deal makings and Xbox Game Pass, the way they're pushing this thing, you never know. This might be a Game Pass sooner than we think.
Well, yeah. Listen, from your mouth to the gaming god's ears, because that would be awesome. One less game that I have to buy. Nautical Forte, I want to get your opinion on this. Did you get a chance to watch the trailer? Were you as enthralled as I was, or this is a big pass for you?
I'm laughing at Tim Dog. It's like I said, this stuff usually sucks. Okay, let me get it together. All right, let's be completely honest here, because I watched the trailer and I was like, man, this thing is cheesy as hell.
It does look cheesy. It does.
I think it looks cheesy as hell, but guess what? It's a Terminator game. As much as some people thought Terminator Salvation sucked, I played it all the way through. It was one of the easiest 1,000 games you'll ever get in your life, because all you got to do is just beat the game and you get the 1,000. So just on the Michael Bay effect with the pyrotechnics and just the story probably is going to suck. The voice acting is probably going to be terrible. But guess what? There's a new Terminator movie coming out this year, so I'm willing to play any type of game just for enjoyment, especially especially if I can get 1,000 points out of it. So when I did see the trailer, I did get like a little excited, more for the movie than anything. But it's always good just to run around and just blow robots and stuff up. I mean, if you could do it in Gears of War, you could do it in Terminator. But I could definitely see if some people say that's a hard pass for me because games do cost a lot of money nowadays. But guess what? There's a red box that's probably right around the corner from you, and it might just be in there for $1.
Play for 4 hours, get 1,000 achievement points.
Get 1,000 achievement points.
or platinum.
So the one thing I will say is Boone is not afraid to, like, you know, show his passion. And when he put that in there, I was like, yeah, man, this is something Boone gonna love because he's selling it right now. But no, man, I'm excited to play it just because it's a Terminator game and I want to get ready for the new Terminator movie that's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, listen, it's like I said, it's basically like trying to ice skate uphill, come out with a good movie game. But Tempestsun, I want to go to you next on this. Did you get a chance to look at the trailer I sent you in the DM? What were your thoughts of it? Was this something that interests you as a fan, or you were like, it's just a cash grab?
You know what? Listen, I truly do. I love the Terminator franchise. But it is true. These games are generally terrible. Now, like, listen, about the developer making it, like, Peter Jackson made some turds before he made the Lord of the Ring franchise. Right? David Fincher made Alien 3 before he made, like, Fight Club. So everybody has some skeleton in the closet, if you know what I mean. Well, this developer apparently made the Rainbow game.
They did. They made the Rambo game. Yes.
Yeah. And the only thing I could find on it is from Destructoid. It said, describe the game as the dumbest game he's ever played in his adult life. So this is the talent putting this game together. So, hey, man, I ain't going to judge it before I play it. I just, I'm not going to do it. And I guess I owe it to it because it is Terminator. I love Terminator stuff. So I'm excited for the movie, though. Hey, man. It looks good.
Well, listen, it's we're getting a lot of the OGs in this new Terminator film, and you can tell that age has not really been too nice to them. But I'm like I said, it's a Terminator movie. I'm excited for it. I'm actually still excited for the game. Clowns, I want to get your final opinion before we move on to like one of the bigger topics of tonight's show. Did you get a chance to look at the trailer, and was this something that excited you because you're a fan of Terminator, or something you'd kind of just pass on?
I saw the trailer, and I don't know what to think of it because I feel like we didn't see a lot of gameplay in the trailer that I looked at. It's like cutscenes, walking. Like, where's the gameplay? Let's see some gameplay. I hope this comes out as like a free game because I wouldn't pay for this.
Okay, I mean, listen, it could go to Game Pass, which would be great for everyone that didn't want to actually pay for it and actually do get down with it. And it's true, they do have a marketing deal with Terminator because obviously both those characters are in Gears 5. So you know what, that you never know. But you know what, this was a fun topic. I didn't expect to spend too much time on it. Though the next topic, and because we're almost at 9:40, is probably going to be the topic that closes out the show because I don't want to go too much past 10 o'clock because obviously everyone's got things to do. There's been a lot of The Last of Us 2 news, and we have confirmation that at the PlayStation State of Play event, which is happening on the in just a couple of days, they're actually going to be talking about The Last of Us. Now, I think it's safe to say that the people like myself who have been waiting for more information, some concrete information, we're finally going to get it. And Naughty Dog is going to be there in a big way. Now, the State of Play, if you don't know what that is, that's Sony's 20-minute version or snippet of what Inside Xbox is. I actually think the 20-minute works. They fill it with content. You get a bunch of games in a short amount of time. I think it's done pretty good. Now, some of the games that they've showed in past ones, not great, but this one has the potential to be good for the simple fact that we have confirmation directly from, of course, Naughty Dog. It's going to make an appearance in some form or another. Now, we're probably going to get some sort of a new trailer. I don't know about anybody else on the panel. I absolutely adored Last of Us, the first one. Now, I know that when I first got it on the PS3, I had to come back to it eventually. I did not like the hit detection. The shooting wasn't really good. And when they released a remastered version on the PlayStation 4, I beat it 3 times there. I absolutely thought it was fantastic. The story is real emotional. It's super, super deep. And I happen to think that Naughty Dog is some of the best developers in the business. And we don't have a release date. Now, according to a Swiss gaming site, they leaked the date for February 28th, which is in the first 3 months of any year when Sony releases a game, is a great month for them. We saw tremendous success with Horizon Zero Dawn, one of my favorite games this generation, and of course, God of War just missed the first 3-month block when it came out in April, and that did very well for, obviously, the franchise. Tim, let me ask your opinion on this. What are you expecting from the state of play? And are you, I mean, again, I don't know if you even own a PlayStation, but are you excited for at least the Sony fan base that we could potentially get an actual release date locked in by Naughty Dog for one of the biggest games for that platform this generation?
Yeah, I have a PlayStation. I actually played, and I'm very close to the ending on PlayStation 3. I still actually have my PlayStation 3 hooked up. I actually have a Pro as well. So, yeah, the answer to your question is yes, I do think the February 28th is going to be the date. I think tomorrow's Twitter and social media is going to be going crazy. Naughty Dog, they are a developer that is up there with the top 3, Rockstar, them, and it's pretty much, they're on an island, maybe those two. That's how good they are. Red. They should be celebrated. I have no problem with people being happy about this. This is, something that people should celebrate. I think one thing about Xbox fans is that, we don't, if something is coming out on another platform, it's maybe not what we, what our preference is. We don't try to shoot the game down. We don't try to say, look to do it. I mean, of course, you're going to have certain people that do that, but I don't think as a whole I think that everyone on this panel can realize greatness, and they are greatness. And tomorrow, it's going to be all about them. It's going to be a big day on Twitter. It's going to be a big day, overall. And congrats to them. They their game, to be honest, is a game that I must try. And there's a lot of games. I played God of War. I didn't finish it. If I do have gaming time, I kind of stick to the Xbox because. Just that's where my friends and everything is where I play, and as time gets as my time gets more valuable, I kind of just stick to that. But that is a game though that will have me playing it. That's how good they are. And they should be appreciated. And it's going to be a really special day for Sony and their fans tomorrow. It's going to be a big day. I think you're going to get the February 28th announced, and. We'll probably see some crazy gameplay at State of Play.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like I said, I'm very excited for it because I was a fan of the first one. I'm probably gonna try and snag a collector's edition. I know that they talked about it. Did they show what the collector's editions look like? Has that leaked yet?
I saw the box, but it's $279. So
Jesus.
Obviously you're gonna probably
that's pretty expensive.
Crazy stuff.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have to see because I think I'm pretty transparent about me being a huge freak when it comes to collector's editions. I have everything Sony's ever put out. Even going back to like the PS3, I have the Last of Us collector's edition where literally right above my head of Joel and Ellie. It's like about a 12-inch statue of both of them. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece. So if there's a statue, I'm definitely getting it because I don't want to just get the regular game. I like getting excited and doing unboxings and celebrating big games for all the consoles. Cybernox, I want to go to you because I know you chimed in. You said the third company on that island would, of course, be CD Projekt Red. But getting back to Naughty Dog, they are the premier developer. And sure, they take their time with their games, but you know what? They don't release duds. And they don't release them broken. And Neil Druckmann is just he is a superstar when you talk about the Sony brand. I mean, the guy just knows what he's doing. What are your expectations for State of Play, but more specifically, The Last of Us 2? Do you think we're going to finally get this release date?
I think Sony's actually gonna do something amazing with the State of Play. Let's remember they were not at E3 this year, so have more ammunition that they can show us, and I think they're gonna give us keep continuing to give us more sneak peeks into what the future holds. But if we were talking strictly The Last of Us 2, I mean that in itself is gonna kill the whole show. That's gonna let's say almost break. Let's say it's gonna break the internet. It's gonna put Twitter on hold tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because that game, I mean, I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I don't have a PlayStation anymore, but in this new reboot of God of War are probably the only two games that made me want to get a PlayStation again.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog has continually, they've proven themselves time and time again of the quality of their work. The Last of Us, the first one, was amazing. The story behind that game, people still talk about the ending till this day of how you portray what happens at the end.
What about the opening? The opening is
oh my
still
God, exactly
crazy.
It's crazy. The whole game was insane. It was a deep story. I mean, like I said, not a lot of people, I would say most people are into that kind of game, into The Last of Us, but there may be some people that are not into it. But I expect nothing but greatness from Naughty Dog and The Last of Us 2 tomorrow, and I think we will get a release date, and it'll probably be what we've always thought it would be, sometime next year in February. So yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that makes two of us. I'm excited about State of Play tomorrow, but simply because I'm sure there's gonna be other surprises, but I really want to see what The Last of Us looks like now. Obviously, we saw in 2018 that demo of her running around that camp, and she was just executing people left and right, and it looked crazy good. Over a year and a half ago, I can only imagine.
I think that may have been running on a high-end PC.
It probably was.
That was running on a PS4 Pro. But yeah, game looks amazing. Sony, I've always mentioned this before. Xbox first-party studios need to get to the same level as Sony's. There's something about their first-party studios on Sony's side that they get their developers to push the hardware to what they can do. God of War looked amazing. Spider-Man looked amazing. Horizon Zero Dawn looked amazing. So they know what they expect from the developers, and the developers know how to deliver the quality that Sony wants. So I know we're going to see something great tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that makes two of us, and I'm excited once again. Nautical, I'd like to go to you, Mr. Forte. I mean, obviously, again, and I really take this back. That's why I enjoy having him on here. Besides him being a great friend of mine, his insight to getting the pulse of the people. Would you say that the PlayStation community is excited for The Last of Us 2? And my second question, could it be the biggest selling game on the console this gen?
Oh, man.
Because, Spider-Man is up there at 15 million.
Yeah, Spider-Man's definitely up there, but guess what? I'm just more happy that this game is finally going to get talked about, so I can, delete half of my messages inside of my... Because, if I was to show you guys my DMs for the last 2 months, it's like, man, when you go to... you can tell us about that Last of Us. I was like, man, I can't tell you anything. I'm just happy they're finally talking about it. This game has the opportunity of being not only the game of this year, but it could be the game of the generation. What I saw blew my mind. Blew my mind. It was incredible. And I was like, if the whole game stacks up to this and gives you this type of emotional thought that it gave, I can't think of words because when I saw, I'm trying to piece it all back.
Yeah. Make sure you tiptoe around the landmines.
Right,
you don't want
exactly.
to. You don't want to set anything off.
Like, it was really, really good. And it's one of those things where I don't want to oversell it because I want people to go in and enjoy it and make their own conclusion of it. But it's almost to the point, like, if you're not excited to play this game, unless Last of Us isn't just your jive, which I can understand it's not for everybody.
Right.
But, man, it was something, man. I mean, it could have been. I don't know if it was running on new hardware or anything. It looked like it was running on a probably a high-end PC. I will tell you this, I can pretty much guarantee that gameplay you did see that they showed us with her running through the buildings and stuff and throwing bottles and stuff, that was in-game. That was actually in-game assets that they were using. I don't know if it was playable in-game, but that was in-game. So what you saw there is what you're going to get with this game. And I'm just excited to just finally have everybody get a chance to see what they're going to show. I don't know if what they showed us is going to be what they show at this event. I don't know if it's going to be a little bit more, a little bit less. I'm just happy to see it, and tomorrow cannot come fast enough.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be by far the most anticipated game. And people get upset and say, hey, why is this such a big deal? People come out and say State of Play was garbage, it was trash, it was only 10 minutes long. You got to take stuff in the context that it's being spoken in.
Yep.
You know, people talk junk about, like, even Xbox, you know, even Inside Xbox. If they talk about something that's very important on Inside Xbox, people would love it. If they come out and do a Halo blowout, it'll be the best Inside Xbox ever.
Yes.
But they're talking about Last of Us in this. I don't care if the last 4 PlayStation State of Plays were trash. This one ain't gonna be trash because people are gonna hear and see and be able to talk and converse about the thing they care about the most, which is The Last of Us. So just on the name alone, this State of Play is going to be fire.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, listen, look, folks, I say this with a heavy heart. You know, you have to, if you don't get excited for something, like if this isn't your bag, I hear you. But I do always like to say, don't pee on someone else's back and tell them it's raining, okay? Again, we've been talking about Gears for weeks, and the Xbox community, this is something that we deserved. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like a spoiled brat, but this is something that we have been waiting for basically the entire generation, and we've had it. We've had it for weeks, and everyone's been enjoying it. Sure, maybe the scores aren't what some of the mainstream media, but you as a fan, and I say this reluctantly to the Sony fans, you got to give the Xbox community their space. This is something we've been waiting for, right? And we had it. We've had it for weeks. We've been enjoying it. The story is amazing. The multiplayer is just ridiculous. Now, the Sony folks who haven't had a lot to cheer about in 2019. Sure, 2018 was a stacked deck. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they were in everyone's mouth. They're the beloved darlings of the industry, and they had 3 really absolutely incredible games on top of a lot of second-party stuff that you can't find on the Xbox. 2019, not so much, right? It hasn't that been. I mean, listen, say what you want about Days Gone. I bought it. In fact, I bought the collector's edition, and I put 30 hours into it. I didn't go back to it. The game was too long, and I felt like I was basically walking through molasses almost the entire game. I enjoyed it, but if I was reviewing it, I'd give it a 7, right? And I think that's fair for someone that put 30 hours into a game that he didn't beat. But this is a celebration for the Sony fans. And you know what? This is a celebration for gamers. I don't care what flag that you fly, but this is it. I mean, think about how the excitement. We're on this show talking about this particular topic that isn't going to go live for another 20 hours, and we all can't wait to sit and watch and wonder what Naughty Dog is going to bring to the table. So I say, you know what? If you don't got nothing nice to say, Don't say it, man. Social media, don't do it. Just let people enjoy, and that goes for gamers. That's just gamers across the board. I don't care, again, what flag you fly. Let people enjoy tomorrow, and you know what? It's going to be a great day for gamers. Not for one particular brand, for gamers. But I want to go to Tempestsun on this. Tempest, there's no doubt that, I mean, I've said it before, I hold Naughty Dog in the highest regards because they're an amazing developer, and I really loved the fact that they came right out and said, no, we're going to be here, and we have something to show off that's going to really excite the fan base. What are your expectations for tomorrow, and what are you expecting that they're going to show off of, concerning The Last of Us 2?
Probably, I mean, the most obvious thing, excuse me, would be a release date. I think it's time. It's been like 3 years since you saw Ellie playing on the guitar. Yeah, I think it's about time. Now, I mean, I hid the kids, I hid the wife. I mean, they're safe. Some people are going to want to kill me after I say it, but I said it before, and I'll say it again. I got to be consistent. I absolutely loved the characters, and I loved the ending, and the beginning was heart-wrenching.
Yep.
As a game, after I finished it, I really, really wish it was just a nice 2.5, 3 hour long but deep movie. That's the way I just feel. I love the way it ended. I think it had the perfect ending. When I saw the preview 3 years ago, I was like, my first reaction was, why? Like, I just don't get why, because it ended so perfectly. I much rather would have seen Naughty Dog do something new, because they are very talented. I don't know, man. I will find the nearest freaking crow and hunt it with a butter knife and eat that damn crow if it ends up being as good as it looked at that E3 trailer, because it looked so incredibly scripted. It looked like 110% scripted. Like, I didn't think, I mean, even another developer, I think, from was making Shadow of the Tomb Raider was like, yeah, it's fake. I'm like, that's kind of what I felt too. I was like, this is really scripted. If it ends up playing like that seamlessly, like if you're holding the controller and it plays like that, I will gladly eat crow, and I will Game of the Year. Just saying it right now. I hope it is that good for people. I really, really do, because there's a lot of people really excited for this game. So I genuinely hope it's good for them. I do. Like I said, I rather would have gotten something different. I just didn't think this series needed to be a series, honestly. I thought it was like a perfect one-banger, but, it's coming. It's going to sell a ton of copies. It's going to be in contention for Game of the Year, even though we're getting a CD Projekt Red game. So
yeah, well, next year is going to be sick. There's no
let people be hyped for it. Let people be excited for it, because there's a lot of huge fans of the series. So,
well, listen, I love what you had to say, and I love your honesty about it. And Clowns, why don't you close us out on this, on not only the show, but this particular very hot topic? What are you expecting to see from Naughty Dog? And do you think that the release date that leaked early, which I was kind of mad that it did, because I wanted it to be in conjunction with the event, I would have enjoyed it more. What are your thoughts on The Last of Us 2, and could this be potentially the Game of the Year 2020?
Sure. Boom, real quick, what was the leak release date on that one?
That actually, the leak came from a Swiss gaming site that had it listed for February 28th.
Wow, so that's really kind of like right around the corner before next gen.
Yes.
So, as far as The Last of Us 2 and what we'll see, what I think it's going to be, I think we're going to see a lot of cinematic stuff. I think we're going to see more walk-in stuff. Not that it's bad. I'm not saying it's going to be bad in any way whatsoever. I mean, Naughty Dog does well with those kind of stories, and it's going to look amazing, but I don't think they're going to really spoil much of the game for us. So hard to say, man. Like, all I can tell you is that I am looking forward to it. I'm going to be playing it a lot when it comes out. I love Naughty Dog stuff. I think they're an amazing studio, top notch. I think it will beat Spider-Man as far as exclusives go. And the February release date, that's tough. I mean, I want to say I believe Sony will release it before next gen, only to boost sales again before the end of the generation to clear the consoles off the shelves.
That's actually a great point. That's smart. That's smart business right there. Sure.
I don't think any game on the PlayStation or that's come out, yeah, is going to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man just reached a broader audience. You can give
Oh yeah,
you can have kids play Spider-Man. You can have a lot more people play Spider-Man than The Last of Us. I think
my children played it.
yeah, exactly. It's gonna sell well. Don't get me wrong. I think The Last of Us is gonna sell well, but there's a reason why Spider-Man sold over 15 million copies.
Yeah, 15 million. I mean, it's
Well,
Spider-Man.
how many copies did The Last of Us sell on the PS4 and the PS3 combined? Do you know?
Millions. You know what?
I think it was like
Actually, it's
10
one of the few
million.
stats I didn't pull for tonight's show, but I can tell you that it's probably a massive amount. It's definitely a very popular, and I expect the first week sales to be like 3 million copies for sure. And I might be lowballing it because again, it is Naughty Dog. It is a PS4 exclusive. But we'll definitely see. Listen, we just about to hit the 10 o'clock mark. I want to get everybody out of here. First of all, I want to thank the chat for being amazing as always. The super chats were extremely generous, and man, all I can tell you is thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And of course, the panel was amazing. Tim Dog, I want to go to you first, dude, and get you out of here. Thanks so much for taking 2 hours of your night to hang out with us. It was an amazing time to work with you. You had really some unbelievable points. Please tell everyone where they can follow you, and more importantly, listen to you on RDX.
Thanks, man. I was just gonna say, everyone, there's a really good podcast. Have to say, Boom, you run it New York style, 8 on the dime, 10 at the end. But really, it's a great cast of guys, people. You can find me on Twitter, xCloud Tim Dog. Usually I'm joking around on there, or you can also hear me every Tuesday night, RDX, 8 p.m. sharp. We also Xbox enthusiast, podcast. And
The number
just
one
really,
Xbox podcast, by the way.
Yes. But I just like to say, just really good podcast, Boom. Like the time, a good podcast is like when time flies. That's when it's a good podcast. So
I
I've been on
appreciate that
podcasts.
very much, Tim. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. That really
Great
means
job.
a lot. Thank you so much again. And of course, Tim, this is certainly not going to be your last time we're working together. Would love to have you on maybe after the holidays. Love to have you back on. It'd be great. Of course, Clowns. Your 4 guys with quarters, like I said jokingly, is literally available everywhere. You're one of the hardest working dudes when it comes to handshaking and getting that podcast on every possible platform. But more importantly, you're a community member that I enjoy watching because you help so many people. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more importantly, check out 4 Guys with Quarters.
Yeah, thanks, Willem. Every Monday night, usually 5 p.m. This Monday, we postponed it. It's going to come back next week. But we're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I'm still working on the Viacom stuff. And it's going kind of well, man. I can tell you that. So really pushing for more airplay and more syndication.
Nice. Well, you do a great job, dude. And of course, you're going to have to teach me the tricks because I got to grow this channel a little bit more. But thanks for being here. Cyber Knox, I want to go to you next, dude. Listen, do me a favor. I want you to, of course, tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter. But check out your channel because you do some good work. And I think you need more subs for the work that you do. Can you break that information down for us?
Of course, Boom. I appreciate being here. Thanks again to the chat. You guys were amazing. Claps all around. Applause. You guys can find me on Xbox Live, everywhere. It's easy. It's Cybernox. I'm usually very active on Twitter.
Yep.
On YouTube, also Cybernox. If you enjoy, just watching, I do like game movies, gameplay tips, tricks, anything of that nature. I am going to have a little bit more times in my hands, so I'm going to try to get stuff with, me talking about my opinions and things about the gaming industry. So maybe that'll get me over 100. I'm at 98 right now, so maybe that'll get me over 100 subs. But it's always a pleasure. Tim Dog, man, it was surreal, man. I've always listened to you on RDX. It was kind of amazing having you here and talking games with you, man. So
great.
Yeah.
You're a good guy, dude.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, man. So are you. Every Monday night, Primetime Gaming. We're right here, 8 p.m. Don't forget it.
I appreciate that very much. And real quick, before I get to the other outro, Cyber Gunter 81 in the chat drops the number of Last of Us 1, 17 million copies between PS3 and PS4. Well, there you have it, folks. That is a huge amount of a ton of numbers, and I have a really good feeling it's going to reach that plateau or even surpass it. But Tempestsun, the assassin of multiplayer, please tell everyone where they can follow you. But if they want to team up with you, can you provide your gamer tag information?
Oh yes, the gamer tag is the Twitter at the Sun. And I do have to say it was a real pleasure being on the show with Tim Dog. Listen to him every week on RDX, and I love his clown gifs, just exposing all the clowns on Twitter.
That's great. I love it.
Love it. And people, I give it my stamp of approval because I played the trial for over 4 years, and I'm addicted to just the trial, but Code Vein comes out in just a few days. If you want a Dark Souls experience in the anime vein, if you will, I guess no pun intended, but if you want that experience, buy it. If you want more Japanese games on the Xbox ecosystem, support the games. If you have any inkling of wanting to play a Dark Souls kind of game, give the trial a try. It's you can just go and download it. Great game. So that's my little game plug for the week.
Okay, no, well, listen, I appreciate it because the what do you call it? The trial is out for both the PlayStation 4 and, of course, the Xbox One. I played it, put about 2 hours into it. I enjoyed it. I got to be honest.
Yep.
All right, well, listen, thanks again for being here, dude. Really appreciate you being here each and every week. And last and certainly not least, the nautical one, Gaming Forte. Please tell everyone where they can follow you, but more importantly, check out your very awesome YouTube channel.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, gotta say that this show is always, it never surprises me how great this show always is because it has a mastermind that I always call the Oprah Winfrey of YouTube running it.
Thanks,
because
dude.
the man is the most hardest working person I know on YouTube when it comes to his channel, and I will always support everything this man does. But shout out to Tim Dog for coming through, man. Always appreciate being on the podcast with you. Tim Dog was the first person that followed me once I was in this community, and I forget, I probably said some real off the wall stuff, and he followed me just because I was crazy. I don't know what it was, but that was like 2 years ago. But I always like the conversation that you bring on no matter what show you're on. So thanks for bringing your knowledge to our show, man. That's an amazing thing. And everybody else on this show, really appreciate all you guys. Like I said, this is a family. I missed you guys last week while I wasn't here, but
and we missed
like
you
said,
just the same, my friend.
Definitely. But like he said, it's Gaming Forte. That's the YouTube channel. That's the Twitter. That's pretty much everything nautical on Xbox Live and PlayStation. I'm making a commitment to my YouTube channel now because somebody named Slow said, stop not making videos on your channel because you feel like stuff is being talked about too much. I have a compensity of not wanting to overstate what's already been talked about, but
you have a certain way of talking about it, dude, and I think more people want to hear about it. Yeah,
and that's what Slow-Mo brought to my attention. He was like, "Bro, if it's something that needs to be talked about, talk about it." So starting next week, I got videos coming out this week, but starting next week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm guaranteeing 3 videos a week.
Nice.
To start.
Are you doing a 3-time?
I used to do it every day, so I got to start somewhere now. I got to start getting back on the grind somewhere. But too many people have been saying just speak your mind and just say what you need to say. So I'm going to get back to doing that. So starting next week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you will get a video out of me at least 3 a week. So thanks again, Boom, and I can't wait till next week.
Yes, well, next week, speaking of which, I know there's 81 people still listening, and I'm going to make the announcement now. Colt Eastwood is going to be the special guest for next week's show. I hope everyone could tune in. I met him and his lovely wife in real life, believe it or not, at E3. He's a gentleman, and it was great to just hang out. We actually sat right next to each other during the the Microsoft briefing, which was amazing. And yeah, he's going to be a guest on next week's show. Once again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time, full 2 hours of your Monday night to hang out with us and just have fun and put your colors down. Leave them at the door. Just come here, hang out, guy, girl, it doesn't matter, and just enjoy each other's company, play games, have fun. And you know what? I'll close out tonight's show with 2 things that my pop taught me. When I was a kid. One, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. I want people to understand that, and treat people how you want to be treated. And I'll finish the show with that. But we will see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and friends. Have a great evening, everyone.
Yeah. Yep, guys.